just like a sports person, if you're not in the form during that day, it's gone. It's a lost case. One important aspect about DI is how you're extracting the right information from the web of information that's given to you. I did not face any challenges in terms of the look and feel of the original GMAT exam, because that's exactly how our mock portal looks like. It's not just about that score or getting an MBA, but it helps you to develop as a person. So that's the best part about GMAT.
So congratulations, Chandan. 685 on your GMAT, right? And this
Yeah.
is focus edition score. What we are looking at is your score. You've got 100th percentile on your quant, verbal 79th, and data inside 86th percentile. Generally, I would like to ask at this point that if you recall how many questions had you gotten wrong in each of these section, we're going directly into, the exam day and 2 days later when you receive this performance section by section. So if you recall, how many questions did you go wrong in each of these sections, Chandan?
First of all, thank you for inviting me, Natasha. And coming to your question, in quant, none, 0 questions wrong.
Right.
And in verbal, 5, I think 1 or 2 from RC and 3 to 4 from CR. And in DI, it was 7 questions wrong. So that
Seven.
was the total. Yeah. So
Right.
11, 12 questions wrong overall. So that's the case. Yeah.
But when you looked at the score, were you relaxed, or did you think you could have done better, especially the verbal and the data insight section?
So it was kind of a mixed feeling, because I started my GMAT journey on like April 14th, and I took the exam on the 100th day, like exactly preparing for
Wow.
99 days, and then took the exam on 100th day. Like when I started my preparation, my ideal score that I was aiming for was 740 in the 10th edition, which is like a 97 percentile, and that's exactly what I got. But along the prep, I was aiming for something like a 99 percentile.
Right.
So it was kind of a mixed feeling where I was relaxed a bit, where I was happy. Yeah, but there's always a scope for improvement, right? So yeah, it was kind of a mixed feeling for me.
Yeah, but when you just shared the score through Sonal and she almost
Mhm.
immediately, sent it out to the entire group, and we were extremely enthralled and we were extremely happy that, you got that score. So overall, let's just go back, a flashback into the time. What were you
Mhm.
currently like? You can talk about yourself. Where do you
Mhm.
work? And
Mhm.
how did this entire journey of GMAT start from that point?
So I'm from Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. I come from a naval background, and I did my BTech from IIT Tirupati in 2021.
Right.
And then I joined a management consulting firm. And currently, I'm an associate consultant at ZS in the digital customer experience space.
Yeah.
So that's briefly about me. And apart from that, I do have some diverse and conflicting interests. Like I'm into mixed martial arts, and I also am a professional dancer.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's briefly about me. And coming to the GMAT journey, it's a weird story, to be honest. Like I have this thing to take up a new challenge each and every year, and in the last 3 to 4 years, it was only challenges that I was taking on the physical front, something like starting a new dance form or getting into mixed martial arts. And this year, I decided I wanted to take a mental challenge. And it's been really long time that I've given an exam. So on April 14th, I think there was a webinar that Sir conducted, and it was cracking the Harvard code. And
Right.
somewhere in my long-term goal, I knew that I wanted to work in an industry which has a synergy between art, sports, and business. And MBA would help me to do that transition. So I decided that, okay, let's prepare for 99 days and give my exam on the 100th day. And I booked my exam on July 22nd or July 23rd. And yeah, that's how I started. There was some issues, like I was comfortable with quant, but there were some issues with verbal mainly. But yeah, that's how my journey started with GMAT.
So I asked this question about, what was the spark that ignited your GMAT preparation, simply because you come from ZS, and we have so many students by now getting that score. So, I mean, I was speaking to one of the topmost scorer this week. Adiraj also comes from
Yeah.
765, and he's also from
Mhm.
ZS. And I asked this question as well to him that, do the company really harbor, the top percentile scorers, and maybe even that, right? Like how was professionally, with professional and with your personal interest, how did the GMAT kind of come in play in terms of the preparation mode? Did you find any kind of a roadblock during your preparation throughout, or
Mhm.
were you very comfortable with work and everything was balanced out for you?
Got it. So fundamentally, I knew that I cannot dedicate any amount of time to GMAT after my work starts. Like my work usually starts at 11, and because we usually work with clients in the East Coast as well as West Coast, like we
Right.
don't have enough time in the night. So I decided that in the morning, starting from 5 to 8:15, with a
Wow.
15-minute break in between, I will
Mm.
dedicate that time to GMAT because from 8:30 my mixed martial arts class also starts. So I decided that okay, I'll start my day a bit early because doing a lot of work and then coming to GMAT, you don't have a fresh mind. You are not prone to learning in the night. So I decided I'll take that up in the morning, and definitely it was not very easy and comfortable. But what really helped me a lot was tracking and prioritizing. For example, like I used to maintain a very detailed tracker and diligently tracking. Okay, this particular day on day 32nd, what I'm going to do, how many hours I'm going to dedicate, and what is the exact session or the questions that I'm going to do. That really helped me a lot. And the other thing was prioritization, where obviously, like your first priority would be your work, so you cannot compromise there. After that, I used to have like a formula where it clearly tells me that okay, your next milestone is completing your bridge course, and you're 10 hours behind it or 12 hours behind it. So whenever that mark crossed 10 hours, I used to deprioritize my dance or my mixed martial arts and bring some amount of time from there and give it to GMAT, because that would be my second priority. So prioritizing really helps a lot, and tracking in an Excel with very detailed. Like any time you spend on tracking it's not waste of time. So that's what I really learned from my work. So I applied that to my GMAT journey, and that helped me to be on track, because like once you get off the preparation, it's like a rabbit hole. It takes a really lot of time to come back and uh, go up to that pace. But yeah, like these three things really helped me a lot, and yeah, so that was the case.
So one of the things that stood out, especially the first thing that you said, 100 days to your GMAT exam, and that's what Sandeep sir keeps, emphasizing, that
Yeah, yeah.
it really takes 100 days. And,
Hmm.
it's like a double validation. One, you got the score, the other, you did it in 100 days. Sir has his formula and he tells how exactly, but let's just break it down. How did you go about this 100 days? How many days did you actually spend learning? That is, studying
Hmm.
the course, and, getting yourself familiar with all the portions, and, finishing the content. And then when was your second phase, which is the practice phase and the mock test phase? Could you just let us know in terms of the timeline throughout those 100
Sure,
days?
sure. So my major focus was on building depth. It was never about getting to the speed, because I know that like if I have the right depth, it's like the more depth you have, it's inversely proportional to the time you're taking. So the less time you'll take. So building the depth was, I remember that I completed my syllabus. The sheet that is given to us during the end of June, and on July 1st, I took my first mock. That was just 20 days before the original test. So that was the distribution for me. Yeah.
So, there's this juggling act that you mentioned about your work, GMAT, and your
Mhm.
personal. So you
Mhm.
did mention that you were juggling throughout. I mean, it was not hard way. You really enjoyed
Yeah.
each of these phases. But were there
Yes.
any moment that you were spinning through these three without really crashing? Was there any moment where you have to say, "Oh, wait, I have to take a break from this and this"? So was there any moment like that happened, or were you easily,
Mhm.
you did all in the last 100 days?
So I did deprioritize my other stuff in the last 1 month, especially like a little bit. But one thing that I figured out initially during my GMAT journey was like I'll only be able to give my 100 percentage and come back to GMAT preparation if I really like it,
Right.
right? So In the initial days, I made sure it's only small and positive movement, and I'm not stressing a lot. Like I'm not saying that okay, for the next 3 months I'm not going to do anything apart from GMAT, because I'll feel like Arey yaar, what am I doing? There are a lot of different things that I can do, right? So I made sure it's small and positive movement during the start, and then I can slowly increase the load. But yeah, I think so. Like I really loved preparing for GMAT, because if you take the CR, it's about you watching your two friends actually having a argument and just observing who is making that logical shift. And coming to RC, it was all about me getting to know different diverse topics, starting from Hispanics to biology and something about psychology and everything. So I really loved it. So that's where I feel like I never failed felt the pain of Arey yaar, what's happening, or I'm not able to do everything. But yeah, it was a pretty comfortable journey. And also I would like to stress about the structure that was given in the Excel, which helped us to sail through easily. Like I exactly know on what day I had to dedicate how much amount of time and what I need to do. So there was no question about what am I going to do today or something like that. I have a detailed Excel for my daily schedule as well, in which I clearly mark that okay, this is the time I'm giving for GMAT, or this is the time I'm giving for my work or other activities. So yeah, it was a easy journey. Yeah, yeah.
Right. No, because you should know that this is not often the road that is used to travel
Mhm.
by a lot of these
Yeah,
students. They sometimes they go to an extent saying that should I quit my job to, accommodate GMAT? And
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. And you have done it all. You should really be an inspiration for anyone looking at
Mhm.
it. You can continue doing your regular, be doing whatever you were doing without really affecting that, and still be doing GMAT if you know what to prioritize and you give enough time, and at the end you know what you're getting into. It's absolutely inspirational, the least word I could use here, right? But definitely inspiring. This should inspire everybody, including me, in any space that we are. Really kudos, I would say here, Chandan. One of the things that I want to ask you is, what was, because you specifically said that the CR part of it, how it was a aha moment for
Mhm.
you, right? Any
Mhm.
specific material or content that stood out for you
Mhm.
into the syllabus, or that you saw yourself applying in your practical, in your daily life also? Yeah,
Mhm.
practical application.
So definitely CR helps a lot. For example, like the way that you observe logic, and it helps you to make rational decisions better, your rational decisions. And also I would say that when I was initially looking at GMAT, it doesn't test your proficiency, technical proficiency. It just tests your ability to make decisions. Like, for example, if you take RC as well, they don't want you to understand each and every detail in the passage. But given if you're put in a business situation, and like you may not be the subject matter expert there, but you just understand the context and you're able to sail through the questions and rationally able to make a decision. That's what GMAT tests. And that actually, when you're practicing that for 3 to 4 hours, that gets carried to your work as well, right? So I'm also into some analytics projects. So DI helped me a bit there, like to understand graphs. And also one important aspect about DI is how you're extracting the right information from the web of information that's given to you. So even like these 3 to 4 small things that I was able to learn at GMAT, they even helped me in my professional work as well. So yeah, it's not just about that score or getting an MBA, but it helps you to develop as a person. So that's the best part about GMAT. Yeah.
Then it follows with the next question: who has been like a hero of your journey, which is, what was, who or what could be the case,
Hmm.
the biggest ally during your preparation? It could possibly be like, the error log, or maybe even a
Hmm.
support from the faculty, or Sandeep sir's video session, or your own, things that you tell yourself uh, in shaping your preparation and mindset, you could say.
So like I said that I think because I focused a lot on depth,
Mm.
my biggest help in terms of like from a strategic perspective was something that I didn't get into the timed practice very initially, and I kept it playful in the starting, so that because I personally believe that learning only happens when it's playful. right? So whatever I was
I
doing, yeah. So like when I was actually reading a RC, I used to go back to YouTube, and I used to just if the passage was about European Renaissance, I used to just watch a YouTube video there. And if it's about how one bullet started the World War, I used to just see a YouTube video there. So as a whole, keeping it playful really helped me a lot. So that was one thing. And the second thing was your mock portals and the support that you guys do. For example, I did not start preparing for DI until and unless I had 30 days left for the exam. But I had a conversation with Sonal, and she told that, buddy, don't worry. DI is just a baby of quant and verbal. And indeed it is. So that helped. When I even though I'm in self-paced course, I did not have a doubts in terms of questions, but I had a lot of strategy doubts. So I reached out to Ayush, and he told me that if you want to, because I struggled a lot in RC, so he told me that if you want to excel there, long sittings are the key. They
You're
work
right.
like magic. So and then in the last 1 week, I faced a lot of difficulty, and I even remember that exactly 7 days before my exam, I hit a 605 score in the top mocks. And I was like, damn, the score is not turning up. I have my exam the next 1 week, and I didn't want to postpone it because I want to hit that 100-day mark. Then I contacted Pratik, and he told me that, okay, we'll not look at the exam as a whole. Let's break it into chunks. You're at 605. If you're aiming for a 705 or something like that, you have to cover 8 or 9 more questions. That's just 2 to 3 questions per section. So let's take it section by section. And in fact, in the last 1 week, there were no full length mocks. I think I just gave one official mock, but apart from that, it was only solving those sectional tests that we have on the mock portal. And they really worked like magic. Like, because even in my 4 RC passages that I got during the exam, 2 to 3 topics was something that I've touched in those respective sectional tests. So I
Wow.
knew the context behind the topic, and my RC went really smooth. That which was like a nightmare for me in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, but you also mentioned in the message that the long sitting as well as the marathon series, especially for RC, that played a pivotal
Mhm.
role in, really transforming challenging section, which was earlier a challenging section, and you overcame that. That was extremely a great insight. Now, when you were going through these sections, especially marathon, it's a long sitting. How did you, like, how many hours did you actually sit through in every sitting? It could
So I
it
just
could go
fought.
on for like 8, 9 hours, but how many hours did
Mhm.
you personally spend?
So I just stick to the plan that is given in the portal. They say that, okay, these are 2 long sittings. I mean, in each long sitting, you have 3 sessions, and you have to do it in a single day. And it was around 90 minutes, one long sitting. So I just stick to that plan. And for CR, I did all those long sittings in one specific day. Even for RC, that was the case. And even I think for DI, the PDF that was given to me, I made sure that having I'm just doing like 30 questions at a row, keeping a time span. So it was not like a too much, but I would say I used to give like 6 hours or something at the end while I was doing those marathons. So that really helps a lot because you get into that zone. Like, even though you are very fundamentally strong, like just like a sports person, if you're not in the form during that day, it's gone. It's a lost case, right? So those marathons and the respective long sittings really helped me to get into the form, I would say. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So there was still some section that you may have still been not very confident just before the exam day. So what made you choose, what order did you choose in the exam, and what made you choose that section?
Okay, so my order was quant, verbal, and then a break, and then DI. Uh, it was very easy to pick up quant in the first because it would act like a warm up. I would get into the flow, and it will help me boost my confidence. So quant was my first section, and after that, I didn't want to do my verbal section at the last because I had some challenges with verbal even like during my past CAT exams that I have given. So I wanted to get it done as soon as possible after my quant. So which is the second section, and then I took a 5 to 7 minutes break, and then I gave my DI section. Uh, I felt like that was the best strategy for me, given I didn't wanted to attempt verbal at the end and get it messed up. So that was the order for me. Yeah.
Right. But were you, did you have enough time through it, or did you run out of time in any of the section? you could review any of the section?
Yes, yes. So in Quant, I reviewed two questions, and I like those got right, like the updated
From
answers
incorrect
got
to
right.
correct it went.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because I knew that I don't want to get stuck somewhere. I can come back. And in verbal, surprisingly, the time was sufficient because I know that if I'm doing good at 13 or 14 questions mark or something like 15, there would be a very long passage that would be coming, which has like 5 paragraphs. And I got something which is detailed, heavy, and scientific. But I know that, okay, we don't have to understand everything and I can just sail through. So there was no concern with the time there. But in I think so. I had some time constraint. I left the three MSR questions. That was my strategy. I stuck to it. I did not even see that question. And then even in the last 1 2 questions, I just had a minute or so remaining.
Hmm.
But I was able to get a better accuracy. I think that's why only overall I think 5 or 6 questions are wrong in DI. But yeah, only time challenge was in DI, but the remaining two sections I was comfortable.
Were there any question that seemed like completely out of the blue, or were you familiar, like, at least with the question wise, you could take it on, right? Like you were able to
Yeah, yes, yes. In the question type or the different types of questions that we get in the PDF, they actually help you to figure that out. So in terms of questions, there was nothing unusual. It's just that, as I've earlier highlighted, right, I started a bit late with my DI practice. So that's where I felt that time crunch. And one unusual thing that I felt in Quant was I felt the questions were a little bit easier.
easier?
So as yeah, as I went through the a 15th or 16th question mark, I felt like I'm doing a bad job. That's why I'm getting
Getting
all the
easier
easy questions.
question could happen.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But apart
it's the
from these
case.
two things, yeah.
If you've done the top mock portal, your official GMAT will be a lot more easier. I think that.
Yes, yes, yes. It's the exact simulation of how the original GMAT looks like. In fact, on the day, my slot was around. It started at 7:50 or so in the morning. I wanted to get it done early in the morning, so I just felt like I was giving another mock on a different day. That's it. Like the exam center and everything was really good. So I did not face any challenges in terms of uh, the look and feel of the original GMAT exam because that's exactly how our mock portal looks like.
One of the things that I do agree and I do tell a lot of students is that, you have to consider your preparation as like, as you said, playful, or rather consider like it's
Mhm.
a video game where there are levels to cross, and,
Yeah.
you do get stuck at some point, and then you find out a way, either yourself, you have self introspection, or you have Sandeep sir or the faculty, but that you should always challenge yourself. You can't be like, okay, I'm stuck and I want to give up or cry out loud. So looking back at your preparation now, and I would call this the Chandan's playbook, right? So if you could give, and we know the conventional thing, what you need to do with is be consistent with your GMAT preparation, do this. So I would rather now ask one unconventional tip, for your playbook, I would say, for your preparation to get this, 97 or 98 percentile or even higher. What would it be for any of the test takers?
So I would say that it's definitely tracking your progress every day, each and every day, and following the plan to the T. There are no deviations. And I think these are the two things that I would focus upon, like initially. And also, like while starting your prep, I would say that don't focus on a lot of noise. You should focus on signal. Like you don't want to pick up a random chat on Reddit or some drive link that your friend has sent and just start with that preparation in the beginning because that wastes a lot of time. You don't have a structured approach. So I would recommend that you need to have that structured plan. Like top guys have a Excel that gives you all the steps that you need to take. So that's super handy. So you need to have a structured plan, track it, and then prioritize your tasks, like not in your day, but also in GMAT. What are your weak areas? What are your strengths? And also like exactly prioritizing them so that you are not focusing a lot on your weakness, but you're able to capitalize on your strengths. So that is the thing that I would say to the test takers. Yeah.
Absolutely. So wonderful to share that. So the final thing, of course, I would like to also know, what schools have you applied to? Have you already applied, or are you still thinking? or is it that you're going to be more focused on your work and then maybe consider to apply? How has this planned out right now?
So currently working with Auth3, and I'm giving it a shot for the round one this year. So there are a couple of schools in Singapore that I'm focusing upon, and one or two schools in the US, like the M7. Uh, so I think now I feel like I should have done this a bit earlier, because when I started with the GMAT prep, I did not do that self reflection a lot. So my why MBA was not very concrete. But right now, after working with Auth3, I am applying for few schools in the round one. But it's also helping me to self reflect upon why I want to do it, what are my short term and long term goals, and how I can achieve it. So probably I'll take one more GMAT in the next 2 to 3 months, like exactly identifying what are the areas I was lacking, and I'll strategically place my schools, few in the round one and few in the round two. In the round two, I would apply with the updated score. So that is the plan right now. Yeah.
Oh, superb, superb. I mean, with this kind of thought and such a focused preparation, you can really get to anything that you put your mind into. I'm sure you definitely
Yeah.
inspired. This last few minutes of our conversation has definitely inspired me in many ways, that you could really put on many hats and be the jack of all trades, right? And kudos to you. Congratulations. This is a great score, especially in any school in the Asia, you can definitely crack it. But M7, obviously, Auth3 would be the best one to say what based on your profile and experiences and all that. But I at least would be rooting for you to get that score, get that admit. And we want to see, within the next by the next 5 6 months at least, when the admits are out, that you put up that you've got an admit right there, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I will be looking forward for that, and I have to take this opportunity and also congratulate you on behalf of Sandeep sir. Whatever you said, if he definitely, if he's also probably listening, you'll be extremely happy because you've done exactly like what he said, and he feels super validated because then you followed what he said and you trusted him with this process. And thank you so much for trusting us through this journey.
Yes, yes. And one last thing, that definitely the course structure and top models, everything helped a lot. But one thing that stands out from top is the philosophy switch that you guys do. That you guys say that anything below 99, it's not even acceptable. Like if you're coming back with a score like that, it's not even acceptable. I think that's, I mean, I would say thank you for that to the sir. Mainly his awareness sessions helped a lot. So yeah, thank you, and happy to give back in any way that I can.
Because
Yeah.
the competition is very tough. It's very intense. People don't realize when they step out, maybe
Mm-hmm.
then you will really see that bite back. Or even among your own peers, right? There's so much of competition. If you don't get that score, you can't stand out. People don't
Yeah.
realize,
Yeah.
maybe once they experience it and then go. That's when, that's the idea of pushing it. Like if you can't see that kind of a success, then how can you
Mm-hmm.
think of an M7 school? That it
Yes.
is true. That's
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
very. But yes, thank you so
Mm.
much again for your time
Yes.
today. You have a lovely day
Yeah.
ahead. Thank you
Sure.
again.
Sure.
Bye.
Thank you for having me. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.